Hey guys, my name is Aaron with Ross Training Academy. This video is just going to be showing off the different types of AEDs that you can buy, trainer AEDs that you can buy if you're starting a CPR business, if you're starting to become an instructor, or if you're thinking about being an instructor. There's lots of different options, and so this video will hopefully just give you a better idea of what you should be getting. So this is just going to be a general overview of the different types of AED trainers that you can buy. I will go more in depth at the end of this video, and I'll show you guys like the pricing list for like new pads, new wires, batteries, and just the cost of the unit itself. So the first one here that we're going to look at is one that comes with the inflatable CPR mannequins that you can buy from like the AHA website. This is just going to be free. It comes with the kit. It's a foam piece with some string and then like these little paper AED pads. It just says AED on the top. There's no batteries, doesn't turn on, doesn't do anything. It just has like a fake little printed on button and then a printed on shock button as well. And then here we'll just flap this open, and then you see the they're basically stickers. They're sticker AED pads, but they still have like the little diagram to show you exactly where to place these stickers on your patient. So there's really not a whole lot to say about this one here. It doesn't do anything. It just kind of shows you where to place this, and then that's about it. That's all it does. So we're going to move on from this one. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Laederal Trainer AED. So we see this one here for $25, which is interesting. So let's see. So $25 for a 5-pack, so about $5 each, which really isn't too bad. Getting a 5-pack is pretty cool. Let's see. So scrolling down, it's a 5-pack. Yeah, not a whole lot about this thing. That's about it. It doesn't look like we can get any replacement parts for this, but for $5 each, you really don't need to get replacement parts. Just replace the whole thing. So then we're going to have this mini AED trainer. It is real tiny. It fits in the palm of your hand, but it does have batteries. It does turn on. It does work. And it has the same type of prompts that a real AED would have. It does come with just a couple sets of pads. So it comes with a pediatric set with the pictures printed on there, and then it'll come with an adult set with the pictures printed on there. It'll come with a set of wires, and this is how you connect it to the pads with this end here, these two ends. And then this is going to be how you plug it into the AED itself. So this one doesn't do a whole lot, but we'll go ahead and just turn it on so you guys can hear what it sounds like.
Apply pads to patient's bare chest. Plug in pads connector next to flashing light. Analyzing heart rhythm. Do not touch the patient. Shock advised. Charging. Stay clear of the patient. Deliver shock now. Press the orange button now. Shock delivered. Start CPR.
And that's about it. It has that little metronome in there, so it'll still keep that rate of about 100 to 120 chest compressions a minute. But that's it. That's all this thing does. It takes, let's see, 2 AAA batteries right on the back side. And that's it. It doesn't take a whole lot. Something easy to travel with. You know, if you're starting out, this is probably going to be the cheapest option that actually speaks to you. So this isn't a terrible option. It just kind of looks a little childish in my opinion. But it does work. It does do exactly what it needs you to do. So this is going to be that mini AED trainer. You can get a 4-pack for $185 or a single for $53. So, looking at this here, this is off of Amazon. Yeah, comes with the pads, set of wires, fits in the palm of your hand for $52. Those are going to be the different functions of the buttons. And then just scrolling down here, you'll see that it says it is in compliant with the AHA. Here's just some more information about it. What comes in the box with. But I don't believe you can get any replacement parts for it. Here's a 5-pack for about $260. So we'll just look at that. And yeah, I mean, that's all it is. It's just a 5-pack of these mini trainers. Yep, that's about it. No replacement parts for this thing, unfortunately. At least none that I could find. So let me go ahead and move some things out the way. Next, we're going to take a look at this one here. This is going to be the LifePak 500T, or Trainer. The LifePak 500, I don't even believe is approved by the FDA anymore, so you're probably not going to want to really get this thing. It does still work as a trainer AED, but because the real ones aren't being used anymore, you don't need the hands-on training with this one in particular. But if you have access to this, if this is all you can get, this is going to be a great option. It's a little bit bigger, so it gets you more of that real type of feel of an AED. But because it's so old, it is very cheap, so not a terrible option. Again, because it's so old, you're probably not going to find a whole lot of parts, replacement parts for this thing, so that is a con to this. So let's go ahead, open it up with these two snap buttons on the side, and then we just have this. This one here, I only have the adult pads that come with, and they're huge. They look just like this. They are just kind of like a laminated type paper with the diagram printed on there. But that's it. You pull this blue plastic off, and then you place it down on your patient. Then it has these wires. These wires aren't really connected to anything. They're just kind of adhesive stuck on to the front of the pads. And then just has this little control, or not control, has a little plug in here that plugs into the top of the device. But let's go ahead and turn this thing on so you guys can hear the prompts. Alright, sorry about that. The batteries were dead, so I had to replace them. The battery looks like this big old block here, but if you just go ahead and unscrew it, there's 4 D batteries in there, and then that's just how you replace them. And then it slides in through this little Velcro flap here, and then you just slide it in. Just like that. So, now, let's go ahead and turn this thing on.
Connect electrodes. Connect electrodes.
Yeah, they're on.
Connect electrodes.
Huh. Well, I'm not sure what's going on, but I can't get past the connect electrodes prompt. Those are all plugged in there. I thought these might have to be on. Not really doing anything else, but it still just says connect electrodes.
Connect electrodes.
So, we're going to go ahead and move on from this one. You guys probably aren't even really going to be interested in this one anyway, just because of the age of it. The rarity of the supplies, and then the rarity of the device itself. So, unfortunately, we're just going to move on from this one. So here's the LifePak 500T. This one off of eBay is $72. You can get a case right next to it for $56. Let's see. Yeah, about $60-ish to $100-ish dollars. It does. Or you can get a remote for it, so that's pretty cool. Let's see. We'll just click on this one here. It seems like the only place you can get these things from is going to be eBay. So let's just go ahead and take a look. So same exact one for $60. But that's about it. Doesn't really seem like there's any replacement parts. At least nobody's seeming to have any. It all just looks like some trainers that everybody's selling. So yeah, that's about it for this one. We're just gonna keep moving on from this. Alright, so now we're down to the final three. This final three are probably going to be one of the more common AED trainers that you're going to run into. And this will probably be what you're going to be more interested in if you're planning on doing CPR instructing more professionally or to professional folks. Or if you just plan on doing it more frequently, more often, bigger groups, where there's going to be a lot of hands-on. So you're probably just going to be interested more in one of these three. So this one here is just going to be from WNL. This is going to be their Practi Trainer AED. So you open up the package, and it'll look just like this. It'll come with a pediatric set of pads, again with a little diagram on there showing you exactly where to place the pads, and a pediatric set of wires. And then it's going to have an adult set of pads with the placement of the pads, and then the adult set of wires. The wires here connect in a very similar way that the mini AED connects. It just has like two little connectors, and you plug it into the pads. And then we have this connector down here that plugs into the AED itself. The AED has only two buttons, just like most practice AEDs. And so now we're going to start having some more cool things going on with these AEDs. Over on this side, we have a volume switch. And then we also have a place to plug in a 12-volt power source, just to have constant power so we don't rely on the batteries. And then we have an audio output, just so we can connect this thing, if you wanted to your headphones, but two speakers if you're at a large event. Over on the other side, you have a couple buttons. This will be how you're going to change to your other language source. So it's typically going to be English and Spanish, and you'll just hold these two buttons to switch between those. And then you got a couple different buttons. Another one's just going to be this pause button. So when you're running a scenario, you can go ahead, hit the pause button, and stop the scenario, tell your students what you want to tell them, and then resume exactly where you guys left off. So we're just going to go ahead and turn this thing on. So
apply pads to patient's bare chest. Plug in pads connector next to flashing light. Analyzing heart rhythm. Do not touch the patient. Shock advised. Charging. Stay clear of patient. Deliver shock now. Press the orange button now. Shock delivered. Begin CPR.
And that's it. That's what it's going to sound like. There's going to be, I believe, 5 different scenarios that this thing can run. And it'll be shown on a little panel up here if you're on scenario 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the different scenarios are just going to tell you a different time to shock. So it's still going to do that whole 2-minute cycle, but it might not have you shock that initial time. Might have you just continue doing your chest compressions instead. And then the second time, it might have you shock and then not do your chest compressions after. So the scenarios are all just different. So basically, shock, no shock, 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 shock. And that'll just kind of be like the different types of scenarios. The kind of batteries that this thing uses is on the back side, you slide that open, and then it takes 3 AA batteries, and that's how you run this. I typically use this when I'm teaching a larger group of students. This thing is less finicky when it comes to the pad placement. These other two AEDs want you to place the pads on perfectly every single time or it will not move on. But when I'm teaching, a younger group of students, a larger, younger group of students, I believe it's more beneficial for them just to get the practice of getting the pads on. So this is that AED Trainer AED. You can get one for about $100, and then a 4-pack for about $380. Let's see. We'll just go ahead and go to Amazon for them. And so yeah, just $380 for a 4-pack, $100 for a single. Let's see. That's just kind of saying what comes with it. These are going to be AHA compliant. So now we're just going to start looking at replacement parts. You can get a pediatric set of pads for $10, an adult set of pads for about $10. Each set of pads has roughly a 20 to 30 time use-ish. You can get a replacement set of wires for about $10. This is going to be 6 pairs of pads for $30 on Amazon. That is great, actually. So yeah, that was about the prices I was finding. So that's it for this AED trainer. We're just going to keep moving on. So these last two here are from the company Prestan. I oftentimes use these more when I'm teaching healthcare professionals because things need to happen a perfect and exact way every single time, and so these get that muscle memory going. So this one here is just going to be the Prestan UltraTrainer. You'll open it up and it'll look basically just like this. I believe they might come with pediatric pads, but these also can be used as pediatric pads, same with any other AED pad. These ones just have the diagram on there to show you how to place them on kids and on adults. So, we'll go ahead, take this thing out. It already comes plugged in. A lot of AEDs, they already come plugged in. This thing, a little bit bigger, a little bit heftier. It feels a lot firmer, feels a lot more professional, in my opinion. But it still functions just like an AED. Now, you might see this little gray button over here, and that's just going to be a pediatric button. So, if you're working with a kid, you'll just go ahead, hit that button. If you're not working with a kid, you will not hit that button. And by working with a kid, I mean the patient being a kid. But the other two buttons are exactly the same, just the turn on button and the shock button. Just like a lot of other real AEDs, they might have 3 buttons or they might have 2 sometimes. Down here on the bottom, you have a few different buttons. You have your volume control and then your selection button for the different scenarios. And again, there's 5 different scenarios, I believe. And it's just like no shock, no shock, 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 just different types of scenarios during those 2-minute or every 2 minutes during those rhythm checks. So over on the back side, you're going to have your button to change it from English to Spanish. And then you also have your battery compartment, and it's just going to have 3 C batteries. These ones also have like a little port down here to where you can plug in just an update, a software update. Just as new protocols come out for CPR, you can buy a little update module, I believe, and just plug it in there, and then it updates the machine, so you don't have to keep getting new machines every 5 years when there's a CPR update. So, like I was saying before, I brought my mannequin up here just because the pads need to be on something for them to work, whereas some of these other ones, all they need to do is just be turned on, and then it'll go through the prompts. This one will not go through any prompts unless the pads are on. So, let's go ahead and just turn the machine on.
Adult patient. If the patient is a child, press the child button. Remove clothing from the patient's chest. Remove packet and apply pads onto patient's bare skin.
So I'm not going to do it. Just
apply pads as shown in the pictures.
Still not going to do it.
Remove packet and apply pads onto patient's bare skin.
And it's just going to keep telling you to put
Apply
the pads
pads as shown in the pictures.
So
Remove packet
we'll
and apply pads onto patient's bare skin.
Pull it off.
Apply pads as shown in the pictures.
And on this pad, you'll see there's going to be like a
Remove packet and apply pads onto patient's bare skin.
There's going to be like a little sensor.
Apply pads as shown in the picture. Press pads firmly on skin. Apply pads as shown in the pictures. Press pads firmly on skin. Do not touch the patient. Analyzing heart rhythm. Do not touch the patient. Analyzing heart rhythm. Shock advised. Do not touch the patient. Everyone clear. Press the flashing shock button. Press. Shock delivered. Begin CPR. Check.
And that's pretty cool. It'll start counting out, 10, 20, 30, and then it'll tell you to do your 2 breaths. But that's it. This thing is pretty cool. I really like them. They do have their purpose. They have their place. I just don't use it all the time because I do have other options. If you don't have other options, I would say this will probably be the best one, the best quality while still staying on the cheaper side that you can get. With that being said, this other brand here, this WNL, I think is a great brand as well. I use this one and this UltraTrainer probably about evenly as often. So now looking at these Prestan AEDs, you can see that a case is going to be about $33. A single unit is going to be $119 for the entire thing with a case. You can get a 4-pack for $462. That's about the pricing per unit that you're gonna get. We'll go ahead and look at the one on Amazon real quick. Let's see. So it just says everything that it comes with. This will also be AHA compliant. So now looking at replacement parts, you can get a 4-pack of pads for $74. You can get a single set for $20. A set of wires, it's looking like 8. Yeah, for $8. Let's go ahead and look at those. Okay, yeah, just a set of cables for $8. Not bad. You probably won't really have to replace the cables just because you aren't plugging them or pulling them out and plugging them back in. They can just stay plugged in. But yeah, that's about it. Let's keep moving. So, now we're going to look at this one here. This is going to be the Prestan Professional AED Trainer. This thing is going to be huge. You'll pull it out, and it'll just be this big old thing just like this. This one here is just freaking huge. This is probably going to be the closest that you can get to a real AED, at least the size and the weight. So we're going to go ahead and start over on the back side. We have a little device in here. This is going to be for your language. This one here is going to be English and Spanish. But you can get other chips with different languages. And then the battery compartment, it's just going to take 4 C batteries. So back to the front side, we'll just lift this cover, and then you'll see your 2 buttons down here, your turn on button and then your shock button. And then you have your AED pads with the wires already connected. And then you're going to have a few different buttons on here. You'll have one button that's just going to change the language. Then you'll have another button that just changes the scenarios you want to run. Again, I believe there's 5 different scenarios, just the shock, shock, no shock, no shock, no shock, shock, no shock, shock, no shock, like stuff like that, Then we have our volume, and then we're going to have our pause and start button. As you're running a scenario, you can pause it, tell the students what you want to say, and then resume it exactly where you left off. So let's go ahead, turn this thing on so you guys can hear what it sounds like. Alright, sorry about that. I don't use this one too often, so I had to change the batteries. So let's go ahead, turn it on.
Remove clothing from the patient's chest. Open packet and apply pads onto patient's bare skin. Apply pads as shown in the pictures.
And again, it's just not going to move on.
Open packet and apply pads onto patient's bare skin. Apply pads as shown in the pictures. Open packet and apply pads onto patient's bare skin. Apply pads as shown in the pictures. Open packet and apply pads onto patient's bare skin. Press pads firmly on skin. Apply pads as shown in the pictures. Press pads firmly on skin. Do not touch the patient. Analyzing heart rhythm. Do not touch the patient. Analyzing heart rhythm. Shock advised. Do not touch the patient. Press the flashing shock button. Shock delivered. Begin CPR.
So, same type of thing, a lot more heavy duty, a lot cooler looking, I think. It is a little bit more expensive than the other Prestan AED, but this is also going to be a pretty good option if this is the type of look that you're going to be going for. Alright, so these Prestan AED trainers, you can get a 4-pack for $768 up to about $1,000. And then let's take a look at a single. You can get a single for $198 or just about $200 for a single professional trainer. So let's go ahead and click on this one on Amazon. Let's scroll down a little bit. Let's see everything that comes with it. And then these are going to be AHA compliant as well. So now we're going to take a look at some replacement parts. The AED pads, you can use the same exact AED pads as the other Prestan AED. So the pads are going to be the same price, a single for $20, a 4-pack for about $75. And then we have some language modules just to change the language, and then some wires. The wires are going to be $7, but again, you shouldn't have to replace these too often just because you're not pulling them in and out. But you will have to replace the pads after every about 30 to 50 uses. Let's take a look at these language modules. So this is just going to be English and French, a 4-pack for $170. It seems like all of them are just going to be English with some other language, and that'll probably all be about the same price for a 4-pack. And then this here is pretty cool. It's just a little dongle that you can plug into the AED when there's software updates for it, or AHA or CPR updates for it. And that's just going to be how you do those updates and not have to buy a whole new AED trainer. But yeah, that's about it. Let's keep going. Alright, so that's all the different options that I have to show you guys. Again, these two here will probably just be my go-tos. This Prestan UltraTrainer here, and then the WNL training AED right here. These are going to be the most common ones that I use. Either one are going to be great. Any of these options are going to work for exactly what you need them to. These are just my go-to here. So I hope this video gives you guys a better idea of which AEDs you should be looking at. But that is it for this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.